Quality leadership for field engineers. How to prevent defects in construction. I am excited about this video because, well, actually, let me tell you why in a little bit of a story. The other day, I had a very well-respected executive level leader message me through Voxer. And I love this guy. He was like, hey, my quality guy was teasing that you don't have very many videos on quality control and you don't have enough videos on safety. And my response to him was awesome. In fact, I was sitting next to Kate and she was like, oh no. And I was like, no, it's gonna be good. And so I sent a message that he loved. I said this: when I read The Essential Deming that talks about the work of W. Edwards Deming and went to Japan, there was an interesting concept where they cease dependence on inspection. We know that the terms quality assurance are that you're building quality from the start, that you have assurance programs, or you have built-in quality like Pokeyoki, or the machines produce a quality product from the start, or the teams are trained to focus on it and will not let a defect down the line. Quality control is inspection, checking it after the fact, and there could be rework and you can find defects. I prefer quality assurance. I prefer quality at the source. And so if you go to Japan and learn about lean principles, safety and quality are a part of what we do. It's not some secondary program, it's not some other position, it's the first thing that we do. In fact, Japanese companies are not goal and finance focused, they are quality focused. Like, it is what we're doing. If it's not safe and it's not quality, we stop the line immediately. When I'm running my projects, when I was a superintendent or a field director or a project director, I will not do anything unless it's beautifully safe. And if somebody's not being safe, I do not tolerate it. I will escort them to a safe place, just like I was taught at Intel, but in a very nice way. And if it's not quality, we don't move any farther down the line. Anybody sees it, you push the button, pull the end on, metaphorically pull the cord, you stop the work and we rip it out. That's the project. It was called the Bioscience Research Laboratory. I said, we're not going to accept anything. So if you think you're going to leave it and we're going to accept it, I will not ask the architect to accept it. If it's a column that's out of skew, I'm ripping it out. And we held to that consistently. And so I have it as a base, as a quality assurance type thing, not as a post-inspection type thing. And so that is the philosophy here. And when it comes to field engineers are front line with crews to make sure that we don't have quality problems after the fact. Do we do some after the fact checking? Sure. But a field engineer can get ahead of it, especially with checklists, because there's not much difference between concrete getting hard and gray and us covering a wall with drywall. They're getting covered, but if we use our checklist before they're covered, we won't have to rip out concrete or drywall later. So there's a couple of checklists that I want to really advocate for. The lift drawing, let me just use a wall. I love using wall examples. Let's say that you have a wall form and you have your walk plank with your handrail on the side, and you're about to place concrete and you got rebar coming up and you're jamming out, right? And it's on a footing, you know, you got your stuff. And you're gonna climb up the ladder that's extended 3 feet above and it's secured top and bottom and it's at a 4-to-1. And you're gonna go up there and you're gonna inspect, right? You're gonna take two things. You're gonna take the lift drawing and you're gonna take your placement check card. I call it placement because concrete fanatics do not like the word pour, and I love them, and I'm a concrete human. I grew up doing concrete. We don't pour it, we place it and vibrate it where it goes, right? So the lift drawing will check the components, and you're gonna two-tape everything. You're gonna check elevations, you're gonna check plumb, you're gonna check line. But your placement check card is a checklist where you will check the normal requirements like spacing, proper ties. You're going to have proper distance or clearance from the reinforcing to the formwork or to the earth, right? Do you have proper projection on the dowels? You know, just everything. You're going to go through each of these one by one. If we get in a hurry, this is the first thing to go and it's the last thing. You do not place that until we know it's right, because it's going to get hard and gray. It's going to be 10 times minimum the original cost, 12 times the original cost to rip it out and fix it than it would be to just get it right in the first place. And I do want to say, for new field engineers, you got to have your assistant super out there helping you. When you're doing this, you can't just throw a new field engineer out there to do this. So you're going to use your placement check card. So concrete placements and masonry grouting are going in properly. So that's your placement check. Your feature of work boards, this is beautiful. When we go for any type of scope, let's say that on your time by location format, your TAC plan, you're about to start a scope working through the different zones, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that trade is going to work from zone to zone to zone. Before they get to the first one, and as a part of your installation work package, I want a visual, and it's going to have pictures and some bullets on here. Let me give you an example. One time we did this with flooring, and we had pictures of what the different steps were for flooring, just like Paul Akers cleaning the bathroom visuals, and it had some very specific bullet points, just what the crew needed. Not a lot of text, not a lot of confusion, exactly what we were looking for, and every crew had it in their hand laminated. This goes back to, you don't just use field engineers for self-perform. So the placement check is for concrete and masonry. The feature of workboard is for everything else. I want one of these for every new trade starting on the site. Why not? Why would I come to a pre-construction meeting or a preparatory meeting and just bury that in Procore meeting minutes? Why would I not just have an installation work package? And why would I not have it be visual, something that we can use for the first in place, follow-up, and final inspections? I would. The other thing is checklists. If you don't have visuals, at a minimum, we used BIM 360 Field for this. I know that Procore and other softwares can do it, but a standard, even if you don't get to the visuals, at a minimum, have a checklist that's distilled down. And by the way, we are not asking AI to create these things from scratch. We're asking AI to take all of our meeting minutes notes and our AI meeting minutes notes and condense them. At least use a checklist for the crew to use in that zone to install that work package on that tack time. And then the last thing I want you to know is you should read the checklist manifesto. Anything that needs to be done right on your project, whether it's a safety inspection, or checking the porta potties, or having standard work for our pre-kit area in our logistics queuing area, to checking traffic control, we should live and die by checklists. And so I just want you to know that field engineers love checklists, and checklists love field engineers. The human brain cannot keep all of this up in their head. And in fact, if you look at great doctors and pilots and any other like really professional position, you'll notice they use checklists. I was with a pilot flying over Canada, and I was like, tell me the truth about checklists. And he's like, oh my, you do not want to be up here without one of those. They have checklists for takeoff, for landing, for emergencies. Your brain will go into panic mode, and you've got lizard brain. You need checklists if you want to do it right. How would you feel if your pilot didn't use the checklist? How would you like it if your surgeon didn't use a checklist? You wouldn't. Why are we any different? We're not. Checklists are our friend. I'll turn this into a blog post. It will also be in our book, Elevating Construction Field Engineers. And if you need help, reach out. We love you. On we go.